Hey, folks, welcome to the Accessible Hunter podcast. I'm Greg Trainer along with my co host, Mike Hudson, and we got a really great episode here this morning. We're going to be talking with Terry Burke Schake from Ohio. And I've been following Terry and his adventures and outdoor adventures for the disabled for a while on Facebook. But first, Mike, what's going on in South Carolina, brother?
Oh man, just living the dream, dude. We actually got a break in some of the weather, so the cold part snapped off. But we're jumping back up into like the 60s this week, and then it's going to crack back down, and we'll be back in the 30s. But man, just getting some new fish in the pond, and we're going to start the new waterfall this weekend. So I'm excited to see some more change and being able to get more people out.
Dude, I can't wait to see what the pond looks like and especially that waterfall. That's going to be beautiful to hang out down there and catch some fish in the summer. And I'm definitely going to get down there this year and see what all you guys have been doing. Um, Terry, what's going on in Ohio, brother? You getting out for archery season? I've seen on your Facebook, and I, I
Yep.
I know you got a lot going on. And for the people who haven't followed you before or haven't been on the outdoor adventures for the disabled group, would you mind introducing yourself to everyone?
Yeah, I'm Terry Burke Shake, and I'm recently moved to Ohio from just across the line in PA. That was about maybe 3.5, 4 years ago. But I love it here. We're out in the country. We have very little neighbors. I love it. It's not in the city. It's not hectic and noisy, and but it's been cold. I can tell you that it's been really cold. I was out yesterday and the day before, and yeah, it was a rough sit, that's for sure.
I, I thought you were originally from PA, but I
Yep,
know you're in Ohio and you've been doing a lot of work on your house and your property last
yeah,
few months and getting
yep.
that all squared away. Um, do you want to tell a little bit about your disability and how you got into hunting as far as the disabled perspective?
Well, I've always hunted and fished when my dad started taking me fishing when I was like 2 years old. So I've always loved the outdoors and been in the outdoors. When I'm going to give a brief description of my disability, what happened to me real quick. So in
Yeah.
2005, I happened to get involved in a bar fight. I was out late at night drinking, doing things I shouldn't have been doing. And my younger brother was actually with my younger brother. I got in the middle, and me and a guy start scuffling, and the next thing you know, I was shot and paralyzed. That happened March 26, 2005, and it's been the first few years were rough. I quit fishing and hunting for a long time. Just
Right.
trying to adjust to this new life and new situation. I was young, was immature. I really didn't know how to handle it. It was so those were some dark years. I went through a lot of depression,
Yeah.
just trying to figure out who I am now as this new person, this new life. Because your life changes. It's totally different in a snap of a finger. You go from it's oh, you're this person over here, and then tomorrow you wake up and you're totally over here. So,
Hmm.
trying to figure out how to handle all of that and negotiate, just everyday life for me was hard. So it took me a while, but I would say about, I don't know, 10 years ago I started, wanting to get outdoors again, and I was trying to figure out how I could do it and go about it, and exactly what would work and what wouldn't. And Greg, you were one of the first people I reached out to. I don't know if you remember that, but
I do.
back when I started the group, I was making fun. I would Google things online and see
Mhm.
what I could find on how did disabled people hunt, because I didn't know how any idea how I was going to hunt. I knew I wanted to, and so I was Googling and calling, and then I came across you, and I called you up, and I was looking at your picture. I was like, man, if he can do it, I want to do it too.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I was like, yeah, I want to get out there and hunt too. So that's kind of what led to the group. When I was sitting there figuring out how I'm going to do this, and I was like, man, there's got to be other people in the same situation who
Right.
want to do these things that I want to do. I was like, I'm going to try to get everybody together in one central place and we could share ideas. If this worked for me, what works for you, what doesn't work. And so yeah, that's what led to the group Outdoor Adventures for the Disabled, and it's been a blessing. It's really helped me out mentally, physically, my spirits. It's just being outdoors just does something for you. I think for
Absolutely.
me anyway, it's like a healing. It does something for my soul. So
You
yeah,
know, Terry, you brought up something that everybody needs to understand. You know, with paralysis, it is a mourning process. You know, we're
yeah,
going from one type of lifestyle, from the able bodied to a new perspective of life, and everybody's process is different. And so,
yeah,
what somebody might process in 5 minutes might take somebody else 5 years. So,
yeah,
you know, anybody that's listening to us, you know, what you did in the past, we can all continue to do, but you've got to get yourself there. Nobody
yep,
can do it for you.
yep,
And there's a lot of great organizations out there that can kind of help you spur along and get back to it. But until you're ready mentally, physically, it takes a lot. It's a
yep.
hard. Spinal cord injuries might look good, you know. Greg makes it look great, but it's tough, man. It's tough living,
It
and
is
we just
tough.
got to figure it out. But Terry, man, I'm excited to see all the stuff you're doing. Sorry to hear about the incident that brought you into paralysis world. But what's your break level, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm at T11, so I have a
T11.
bullet right at T11. And I also want to say real quick, you know, getting shot, it put me in a situation, but I also, looking back to where I am now, more
Yeah.
mature about everything. I think it actually saved my life because
Right.
I think
Right.
I was on a path to this destruction and
Sure.
not good things. So I think this was the God's way or the universe's way of slowing me down and make putting me back in perspective. So I
Yeah.
think it's led me to where I am now, and I'm the happiest I've ever been. I think it actually saved me, and
You know, we hear that all the time. I know Greg and I were kind of smiling going along with you. I was a young guy too, and just hard head.
yep,
You know, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, but at the same token, it is opening up a whole new broad perspective on life and
yes,
adventures and things that I never thought I would see. Now I'm an old guy with gray beard, and but it's given me a whole new insight. And I'm like you, Terry. I think it's really given me a new lease on life.
yeah, yep,
I I'd like to think, Mike, that we would have matured naturally, but
Yeah.
that spinal cord injury did take a lot of fire and piss and vinegar out
Woo.
of what the three of us have gone through, I'm sure. But I always joke around when people say that and say, "Well, I'd like to think I matured naturally," but the spinal cord injury definitely gives you time to sit and think and to
hmm
figure out what's important in your life and in the direction you want to go in. And much like you, Terry, it took me a few years to be able to get strong enough mentally and physically to want to go back out hunting again. But it was so important to get back outdoors. But it does take time, and everybody's on a different time schedule. For some guys, they can do it right away. They can spend 6 months right out of rehab and get back into the woods. And for other guys or girls, it may take a couple of years before they're ready.
Mhm.
Yeah, it took me like it seriously was like 10 years before I was back out hunting and fishing again. And a lot of the guys I meet, new spinal cord injuries that are new to this life, I tell them, no one's going to come and save you, man. You got to
No.
get yourself, you have to get yourself together because
What
Yeah.
you got to help yourself because there's not somebody's just not going to come in the door and be like, okay, let's go. Everything's fine now. It's going to take time. It's going to take work, but you have to put in the work and put the time and energy in to get yourself situated.
what
And
was that first hunt like, Terry, for you? Because I know that you've certainly honed your skills as a hunter and archer, with a disability. But what was that first hunt like for you?
I remember it like it was yesterday. We were up
Right.
in my grandmother had her and her husband built a log cabin up in outside of State College,
Mhm.
and I lived up there ever since I was 13. And so after I had got shot, I went up during hunting season. I was up there for Thanksgiving. I was like, I want to go hunting. So my uncle wheeled me down in the woods in my wheelchair, parked
Right.
me there. I had a lunch bag and left me there and came back and get me. So I was like,
Yeah.
just leave me here. Just leave me by this tree. I
Yep.
went
Right.
down to the tree where my grandfather used to hunt. He had a bucket there with a pad. I was like, leave me
Yeah.
by Pap's tree and then come and get me later. So he took me down there, came back and got me at noon. I went out and then I went back down. I think around 2 or 3 o'clock, and I stayed till dark. But it was strange because I couldn't move. I was stuck there. So it's like
Right.
I
Right.
heard something. I'm like trying to look around trees and I'm dropping my rifle. And I'm like, oh my God, if something happens, I can't get out of here. But
Yeah.
I was fine. I think I was more nervous and scared of what was going to happen. But,
Right.
I was fine. But yeah, it was interesting. It was something. Yeah,
I,
for sure.
I think Mike will agree with this. And Mike, I'll give you a chance to jump in. But, one of the big things for me, having a spinal cord injury, people were always around me. You don't get to be by yourself very much. People are kind of checking in on you and do you
Yeah.
need anything? And I liked your perspective there, Terry. Just leave me till noon. I'm fine. Come check
Yeah.
on me, and then come back at dark and pick me up at dark. But I'll be fine. I just need some peace and quiet by myself. And I find that, when we get those quiet moments in nature, to me that's just priceless. And Mike, I'll let you, talk a little bit about that. But I enjoy the hour or two sometimes by myself in a ground blind that I can
Hmm.
just sit there and get back to the way things used to be hunting alone sometimes.
It's one of those things, Greg. You said it, man. As a driving quad, and I was able to, just to throw all my stuff in the truck and go by myself. It used to drive my wife insane. Is because she's like, Where are you going to be? What's going to happen if this occurs?" Because
Yeah.
my wife, she's not a big outdoors person. And I would throw all my junk in the truck, and I was like, "Hey, if you don't hear from me by dark, give somebody a call, but they'll know about where I'm at."
Right.
It is the time when I get to sit by myself and just see what happens.
Yeah.
And I love hunting in the morning. It's the new dawn. It's are deer going to show up, turkey going to show up at the break of dawn, and you know, I get to see a whole new perspective on life, and I figure it out. If I drop my rifle, like Terry said, I got to figure out how to pick it up. Or I'm
Right.
just an observer now. I'm just watching the
Yeah,
animals
just
go
walk.
by.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, we figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's that time to try to do it on your own and to be able to try to figure out that independence. I love being outdoors.
and
Yeah.
and we're a lot safer now too, Mike, with electronics and having,
Oh
cell
yeah.
phones and
Yeah.
being able to use voice activation on our phones and drop a pin. But I don't know about you guys, but even whenever I was younger, I would let people know where I was hunting and what time I would be back. And even today, if it gets to be half hour after dark and I don't call my brother or call one of my other buddies or another family member and let them know, hey, I'm going into the woods at this time. I'll be out by that time. They'll call or text it and check on me. And I do that for them too. Whenever they're going into the woods, in the morning, I say, text my cell phone. Let me know when you're going out, where you're going, and then text me whenever you get back to the truck. It's just having a safety plan, not only for people with disabilities, but all my hunting buddies. We kind of check in and give each
Hmm.
other the lowdown.
Yeah. I just was doing that the other day, and I told my neighbor. I said, if you don't hear from me by like 7 o'clock, call my wife, and if I'm not home, you guys are gonna have to come out because where I'm hunting, there's service is real spotty, and
Yep.
I
Yeah.
got a park and wheel, mm, maybe about 70, 80 yards to the blind. So, but
Right.
it's real rough in there, and I know there's a chance I could flip. And if I flip
Yeah.
and I'm laying there, I don't want to be there all night long. So, if I'm not back like a half hour after dark, then you guys,
Yep.
should probably start,
Looking for you.
coming out and looking for me. Yeah,
Well, that's one of the bigger kickers, Greg, is how many times we had somebody on the podcast that got hurt while they were hunting.
Yes,
It
sir.
doesn't take a whole lot. Terry didn't
yeah,
expect to get, shot in a bar. I didn't expect to get hurt the way I did. It happens in a brief second. So it's not, that you're seeking accountability or, you got to have somebody overseeing what you're doing. It's just being smart.
Yep.
and just
Yeah.
let somebody know, hey, this is where, I'm going to be, the vicinity. But just having a lifeline and accountability, be your brother's keeper.
Yes,
Yep.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Terry, I don't want to tease you too much, but I think you got into your ground blind a little late last week. Looking at your Facebook page, you were videoing something outside your ground blind there, and said you can't make this stuff up. You remember the video you put on?
I was on my way out.
Oh,
I was already in there in the morning, and then I was coming home for lunch, and I'm wheeling over to the truck. I take my time. It takes me about 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes to get over there with all my stuff. And I put the crossbow down, and I'm taking my coat off, and I turn around and look, and I said, "Did I just see a deer?" And then I seen the tail flicker, and he put his head up. I'm like, he's standing right beside my blind. And he stood there. And so I grabbed my cell phone and I took a video. I said, "You can't make this stuff up." As soon as
Right.
I leave, that deer came out of those woods and
I
Oh,
stood
yeah.
I seen
like
this
he was
video.
teasing me.
Yeah, I seen this
Yeah.
video he did, Mike, and he had a buck about 3 feet from the window of his ground blind. I thought he
Oh,
got
yeah.
in there. I thought he got in there late, so I wanted to give him the business a little bit on the
Uh,
podcast. But he was already in there hunting, so I can understand that, Terry. And you've had the opportunity to go on a couple of hunts recently and hunt with
yeah.
some organizations. And do you want to tell us a little bit about one of your recent hunts in Ohio, or where you've gone and who you've gone with?
Yeah. The one organization I think everybody should look into if they want to go on a hunt was they're called Hands of a Sportsman.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
And they sent me up to I think it's called how you pronounce it, Mulholland Woods. It's in
Mhm.
central PA or Ohio, and it was a great organization. I mean,
Mhm.
they from everything from lining up. I drive, but they make sure your transportation's taken care of. But you get up there, they feed you. You have a guide. Where you stay, your quarters are beautiful. The lodge is beautiful. It was a really good time. I was up there for 3 days, 2 days, or 3 nights and 2 days, and they had elk, they had buffalo, and we were after one deer in particular. I guess they go by the score of the deer. That's how they
Yeah.
Hmm.
determine the class. And this deer just gave us the slip every day. We were looking for
Wow.
this deer. And then one morning he was coming up, and then there was a bunch of bulls that came through and ran him off, and we almost had him that day, and it was our last day. Then we got to the last day, and we're like, oh man, we're gonna have to go after this deer because if we sit in the blind, this other blind, he don't show up, that's it. So I think I sent you some pictures. We strapped up in the side by side, and then I got a mount, and I strapped my AR to that mount, and we drove around and looked for him, and
Right.
we ended up finding him and getting him. But it was a wonderful trip. Hands of a Sportsman is really Dave Hensman runs that. I don't
Yeah.
know if do
Hmm.
you
Yep.
guys know Dave?
Yes.
Yeah, I just, it's funny enough. I live the state right next to him, and was just
Oh, do
talking
you?
to, yeah. So, Chad. I don't know if you know Chad Austin's his right hand man. They do a
Mm-mm.
lot together, and he just sent me a link, so I signed up for their pheasant hunt. They do a David Keisner pheasant hunt. They got
Oh,
that
okay.
coming up in February, so you'll have to come down and hunt with us. But yeah, David Hensman and those guys, man, they're jam up, and
Yeah,
top notch folks. They really do a good job. A lot of deer hunts, pheasant hunts. Like you said, they'll get you up north if that's where you want to be. But they're based out of North Carolina. Hands of a Sportsman. If you guys get the chance to check them out, good people.
yeah, they're great. They're really good
Yeah,
Y-
quality people. Awesome.
y- it's funny how small the disabled hunting community is. That
yeah,
you got three guys on Zoom talking about hunts, and none of this was planned, and everybody knows who you're talking about, and just thankful for resources like this that we have.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's something, not to horn in on the whole conversation, but something that Terry brought up earlier. We live in a time right now where technology is out there, and we can Google something at a whim, and be able to find these things. And that's what these podcasts are about: is just raising awareness on opportunities and places to go. Guys and girls that want to continue to get up and get out, Google those places around you and find ways just to get up and get out. Life goes on. Let's just be a good part
Yep.
of it and being able to share these resources. But Terry, I had a question for you, man.
Hmm.
If I know you've gotten really good at archery and you love being out in the woods, if you had an opportunity,
Hmm.
what's the animal right now that's really calling you?
An elk.
Yeah, man.
An elk.
You know that
An
that right
elk.
there is exactly where that's my dream hunt. Greg already knows. I'm gonna
Oh
find an
yeah.
elk hunt. But
I would love to do an elk hunt.
yeah, that's a tough one, and I've got some buddies that get out. I would love to be able to do I'm a quad, so it's not gonna happen. But to do the whole canvas tent, to go in on
Yeah.
mule,
Oh
to do
man,
all that.
hike way back in.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, stay
dude.
overnight. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
no,
love that.
it's never gonna happen.
No,
But
it's never gonna happen for me,
hey, it
man.
is what it is. We can dream, right? But
I could
but
watch the guys on TV, but and YouTube, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But elk, I'm right there with you, man.
What's yours, Greg? What would you want to hunt?
It used to be elk, and I've thought about this a long time, and I don't think I'm going to have the opportunity like you guys are saying to go for elk. That may not be on the horizon for me, but man, this is going to sound crazy, guys, but I would love to shoot a buffalo. Uh, I,
Yeah,
I, I,
That'd be
I,
cool.
I really would. I'd love to have the meat. I'd love to have
Oh,
the head on my wall. Um,
right.
I think for me, my dream hunt would be going for a bison. Go for buffalo.
Oh yeah.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. It's
Then,
hard to say, when you're sitting on these things and just talking about, sheer animal or whatever, but it's more so the adventure.
yep.
Yes.
We're sitting here laughing about getting out in the outdoors. I would love to be able to rough it, and be able just to
Yeah.
tolerate the cold and,
Yep.
find your
Sleep
own
on the
firewood.
ground.
Heck yeah, get
Yeah,
back old
dude.
school.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen, but we can, even with paralysis, we're willing to push ourselves. I'm willing to take a chance, and just get out
Yeah.
there and rough it a little bit more. But Terry, do you have any hunts coming up that are I don't know the ones closer to you? There's a bunch of good groups up your way. Greg and I have been able to hunt up in PA some, and just being able to get back out. The Top Simple Foundation really did us right, and Greg and I were both able to kill some really good deer up that way. And I don't want to horn in on you, but you got any hunts coming up, or are you signing up for anything that's pressing?
I don't have a hunt coming up, but I did go to the outdoor show up in Harrisburg. Do you guys
Yeah,
you
Hmm.
guys know about that show, right?
Yep.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all
Absolutely.
week long.
Hmm.
Well, I met a guy up there. I was looking for somebody who could handle a wheelchair person for fishing.
Yeah.
And so up in Alaska. So I got a trip booked for next fall to go up to Homer, Alaska. We're going to do a halibut. There's 3 fishing trips in one week. I'll do a
Yes.
halibut trip, and then I'll do 2 river float trips where I'll fly
Oh
in on
yeah.
the plane and then float the river for the day. We'll be staying in a cabin, so I am so looking forward to that. There's 6 of us going, and we're in a group, and I talk about it all the time. I just
Man, that's
my
awesome.
dream place to go is Alaska. And I'm going. I have it booked next fall. Montana's on my list too.
Yeah.
I gotta go to Montana. Yeah.
Yeah. The scenery and everything about it. Greg's laughing. I got my baby brother lives in Alaska. I've yet to
Oh,
go. Lives in
Really?
Palmer, Alaska. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh
And
man, what are
I
you waiting
know,
for?
huh?
What are you waiting for?
I can't tolerate the cold, man. And it's
Oh,
I can do chili.
yeah.
But when it gets that little tick, he'll send me something and it's like minus 30. You lost me. I can do the
Oh
30. It's
man.
just that minus. And
yeah.
Yeah.
I got some buddies that are they're there now. They're doing some sea duck hunts. And so, where they take you out on these boats and you have sea ducks that come in and fly in. They're all migratory and they're just a
Oh.
larger duck. And so they're staying on a boat, large boat, and then they'll take you out on these smaller boats that you hunt off of. It's really
Oh,
cool.
that
Uh,
sounds cool.
oh yeah, and they're doing it out of Sitka, Alaska, and so it's one of those last frontier deals. And my
Yeah.
brother's not a hunter, but he does all kind of adventures. Man, Terry, I'll have to send you the videos. Me and Greg joke around. He's got these massive bear in his yard, moose. And I'm
Really?
like, dude, I would shoot out of your back pocket. You'd have to kick me out
Heck
of your
yeah.
house. I mean, these
Yeah, for
animals are
real.
right there, dude. But I'm with you, man. I'm excited to see you get back out there and hit Alaska. That's gonna be awesome.
You guys have anything coming up? Aren't you guys sponsoring a hunt,
We're
Greg? Or
we're actually involved with Nevin's hunting friends, and
Yeah.
they're doing a pheasant hunt in January here in PA. So
okay.
want to give a little shout out to those guys, Daniel uh, Burns, and because they are sponsoring an adapted pheasant hunt in
Hmm.
January.
Oh, okay. I've never done that. I've never done any kind of birds like pheasant, turkey. I've never got to do any kind of um, bird hunt. It just
Stay
strictly do
away from
your.
it. Stay
Really?
away from it, Terry. It's addictive, man. And I'm gonna tell you, we joke around. Turkey got the brain stem of a BB, and they will drive you absolutely insane because they outsmart us every time.
Oh,
But
really?
it gets so addictive when that gobbler's, and he's in full strut. He's out.
Yeah,
He's out there drumming the whole 9 yards. It's like duck hunting. It gets expensive, but then it gets into your soul, man. And you just all I want to do is chase.
I'm gonna have to try it. I'm gonna have
Well,
to
you
try
let
it.
me know, man. I'd love to get you out there and go.
You guys
But
do it down there?
Oh
Down?
man, we got turkey everywhere.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
yeah.
one of
We're
the
gonna
things
have
are
to fix this.
what one of the things Dan is talking about with Nevin's hunting friends is they have a quad and they have like forks on the front of it that they made almost like a flat trailer for the front of the
Right.
quad, so they can get people in chairs on it and drive them to the
Oh,
birds, or
wow.
they have these birds set up. I don't know if you're ever familiar with some of the pheasant hunts or not, Terry, but they'll put these
Mm-mm.
pheasants to sleep in the field. They'll tuck their head under their wing and put them to sleep in the field. And then they have the dogs, and they'll walk you up and make sure you're ready. And then they'll have the dog, flush the pheasant, and
Oh,
get
okay.
it gives you an opportunity to get ready and to get set up, depending on the wind, which way they think that bird's going to go up. So
Yeah.
even as a quadriplegic over the years, I've had the opportunity to harvest a couple of pheasants, and man, there's
Oh, that's
no
cool.
better eating than
Oh
pheasant
yeah.
baked in the
I'm,
oven with
eh,
some bacon.
yeah, I've never tried it. I've never had that. That
I've
sounds
seen
good.
that before, Greg, where they get you out on the front of the quad. It looks pretty cool. I've
Mhm.
had some buddies do that. And that before my injury, that's what we used to do is flush birds and go after them. But with the hands of a sportsman, what we do is they do a tower hunt where they bring these birds in and they release them from a tower. So you go to
Mhm.
different shooting stations, and when they let these birds go, I mean they're at a whim. They're going to fly where they want to go.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
if you're around in these different stations when they launch those birds out, you may or may not get an opportunity. And then every 5 or 10 minutes, you switch stations,
Yeah.
and then they'll do
Oh,
what they call a cleanup because you're on a preserve. And so once those animals are all released, we're only shooting like 35 or 40% of the birds. So now you got 55, 60% that are out there. They'll go through and do a cleanup of whatever birds are still there. Then that helps, renew the population. But
Right.
oh,
Right.
okay.
it's pretty good.
That's
It's a great
awesome.
opportunity to try to get on a bird that's really quick.
Yeah.
People don't understand. It's like dove hunting. Those things they can flip and flap pretty fast.
Yeah, I've never tried that. I'm gonna have to try that. That sounds fun.
Oh
And
yeah.
and Terry, didn't you just go on a hunt with the Jurassic Classic in Ohio? Um,
Yeah.
what
Yep.
was that like? I've never been out there for their big festival, but I know they do some charity hunts too. What was that like?
Yeah. That the Jurassic hunt I had found through my group through Outdoor Adventures for the Disabled. Somebody had posted it, and then I reshared it. And a member of the group had a question about, will they teach you how to shoot a crossbow if you never have? And
Yeah.
so I called up there, and the guy said, yeah, we'll do some shooting with you. We'll make sure you're good on the crossbow before we take you out in the field. And I said, I'm gonna put an application in, and I put one in, and I kind of forgot about it because I went on the hands of a sportsman's hunt. So I was like, that's my hunt for the year. I'm done. Well, the guy called me and he said, "Hey, I have a hunt coming up, and it's in 2 or 3 days, but somebody got sick and can't make it. Can you fill in?" I said, yeah. I was kind of hesitant to go, and then he's like, "Well, it's because if you don't come, since you're so close, then it's just gonna be the spot will just be empty." And I was like, "You
Right.
know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go check it out. I've never been up there to their. They have that big what is that? The raffle they do where they do the tickets and then you go
They,
try to win."
they do, Terry. They have a big festival and it's a huge raffle. They uh they raffle off hundreds of thousands of dollars of prizes and equipment every year. It's a huge event. I've never been there
Yeah,
myself,
I've
but
never been to
but,
it.
but I see it all the time, every year listed.
Yeah, so I was like, "Yeah, I'll go." I got up and I went there, and it's a whole like compound. It is
Yeah.
huge, and you go in and there's deer heads, like the biggest deer that have ever been killed in Ohio, and it's just the whole hall is like filled with deer heads. It's amazing. And
Right.
then you go in, you meet a guide, you meet your guide. They give you a big gift bag. You got so many cool gifts from them. A duffel bag full of hunting supplies, a jacket, new knife, new lock, and yeah, it was cool. We went out. Now you don't hunt their deer though. I think everybody thought when you go up there you're going to be hunting. They keep deer there as for education for kids. They bring kids
Hmm.
in. The schools come up do field trips. But yeah, you don't hunt on their grounds. They have agreements with like surrounding farmers, and where they'll take you
Right.
out. And so yeah, I got sent. I went out back, and I kept falling asleep in my blind. I it was like every 10 minutes I was like sitting up. The guy's like, "You were snoring that time." I was like, "I was snoring." He's like, "Yeah, you were out cold." Well,
It's that peace, man.
yeah,
Peace in
yeah.
nature, dude.
Well, the second day it happened again, except I almost fell out of my wheelchair. I like tipped over and caught myself on the ground. And guys, listen to this. I said to my guide, I said, "I just had a dream that a buck is going to come out. I dreamt it." And 10 minutes later, he's like, "Get ready, there's a deer over there." And I can't see it because I have the wall here on my right. I'm like, "What
Right.
is it? What is it?" He's like, "It's a buck." I was like, "No way." So he
Premonition.
I can't believe a buck came out. But he came out and circled the corn, and we didn't know this at the time, but the wind was right in his face. So he immediately, as soon as he faced us, he turned and looked up, and he smelled us. He winded us and took off. So we stayed in the blind, and maybe a half hour later, I ended up shooting a doe. But it was a great experience. It was really fun. They put me with a really cool guy. This guy named Rusty. This old guy. He had a lot of stories. He had took
Yeah.
some videos of me sleeping.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it
That's
was
what
a
it's all
good time.
about.
Yeah, yeah. But I couldn't believe I almost fell out of my wheelchair. I must have been completely out. I must because I was dreaming, so I must have been really asleep. But
Hey man, it is
yeah,
what
it
it
was.
is. That sometimes that's the best part. It's razzing each other. You
It,
And
you want to be able to share stories at deer camp. You just don't want to be the center of all the attention.
Oh,
and
everybody was picking on me the whole time. They were like, "Oh, Terry, don't fall asleep on your food, Terry. Don't fall
Right.
asleep while you're eating."
but
So
at,
it
at
was a
least
good time. It was fun. It was a good time.
at least you got to see a buck and harvest a doe. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that
It's
part
not
is
about
good.
shooting anything really.
No.
It's just about going.
Oh
Going
yeah.
and spending time, meeting some new people that are new to the community. There was a guy there that would had fell out of a tree stand. He got hurt while
Yeah.
hunting, and this kid Nathan Wheeler and me and him are buddies now on Facebook, and we're texting every day. He hunts a lot, so it's about meeting new people. It's the experience. It's not
Yeah.
about people think hunting's about going out and killing an animal. Well,
No.
sometimes that happens. You will get an animal, but most of the time you're not. And it's about making memories. You know what I mean?
Yes, it
It's not.
is.
It's not about shooting something.
Yeah.
Har- Harry, you've had the opportunity to apply for a lot of hunts and to be successful and go on them. What's that like? Can you tell somebody that's thinking about going on a hunt what the process seems to be like and how actually easy it is to apply for these hunts and to go on them to take advantage of the opportunities throughout the country?
Yeah, Mike. Like Mike said, Google, if you want to go somewhere and do a hunt, Google, get online and find, there's so many organizations that do hunts you can go on. But you got to actually fill out the applications. A lot of people say
Mm,
they want to do it, but they don't go through the process. Just
Mhm.
fill that. It takes 5, 10 minutes. Fill the application out and send it in. You never know if they're going to call or not. And when you do get the call, it's so exciting. I'm going to tell you when what I felt. I probably fill out 3 to 5 a year, and some of them will you might not hear anything for a year or two. You know, you might
right.
it'll take them a while to get to you, but when you get that call, it's like, yeah, you know, you're going on a hunt. It's a
Yeah.
good time. It's worth your 5 or 10 minutes to get online, fill the application out, and like what you guys know, Wyoming Disabled Hunters Program, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
That
Yeah.
is one of the best organizations in the country. You get to go out to Wyoming and hunt antelope, or they do mule deer, and
Mule
I think
deer.
they do a
Yeah.
couple elk hunts too.
Yep.
They
Yep.
even do a couple elk hunts. That organization is so amazing. You're in a beautiful, beautiful ranch. You're right there by Yellowstone. Excuse me. So when we went out, we I went out maybe 4 years ago. We rented a car. We made the trip up to Yellowstone. We did the antelope hunt. It's these organizations are run by great people.
Yes,
Absolutely.
sir.
You're gonna have a good time.
And that's the thing. Terry, you said it. Take time to set up the application, do the application, but have follow through. These
Yep.
guys and girls put in a lot of time and effort. And if you're not going to go, don't apply. There's a lot of people that
Yeah.
want to go. Make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons, but make sure that you give enough kudos to these guys and girls that are taking their time. There's farmers that are pouring into these locations, and just understand how much time and effort they put in as well.
Yep. They
And
take time out of their personal lives
Absolutely.
to come help people that they don't need the help to make sure we have a good time. So
and
Absolutely.
and
yeah,
as you said too, Terry, you kind of went on standby on one of these hunts.
Yeah.
You were not expecting to go, but you had the ability to go right away. They called you and probably gave you a few days notice or maybe a week's notice, and you
yep,
took advantage of that opportunity. And that's another avenue that people can do because as Mike has a charity in South Carolina, and sometimes people cancel on things last minute. And
Mm,
if you have
yeah,
an opportunity to fill in, and that you can go at the drop of a hat, that's another avenue to get people out hunting for sure.
yep.
absolutely. Terry, I got a question, man. As a para, is there any kind of special equipment that you use? I know you said something about a shooting rest or some other stuff that you might use. Is there any kind of equipment that you use that help you out?
Mainly, my main problem for me, hunt, fishing, hunting, anything is where my trunk level injury is at T11.
Hmm.
So even holding a rifle, I want to tip over, you know what I mean? Even
Yeah,
when I'm
yeah,
fishing. So I have to make sure I have shooting sticks, a good pair of sticks to help support my rifle because I could hold it in close, but to
right.
actually hold it out and aim, it makes me want to tip forward or to the side, whichever direction I'm facing. So
Sure.
I make sure I use a good pair of shooting sticks. Actually, Jurassic Classic introduced me to a pair of bog, and
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
they have the clamp on them.
yeah,
Yep.
I had never seen those before. They'll actually clamp the gun in place, and
yes, sir.
it'll still rotate and move in all the different directions. So that's a great product. And I know I have seen. I don't know what it's called. There's an arm you can attach to your wheelchair, and
Hmm.
it'll hold the rifle in. I don't know what it's called though.
Articulate.
Is it
Yeah,
artic? Yeah, I'm
yeah.
not sure what it's called.
Bog Death Grip has some different stuff. And
Yep,
and
bug
there's
death
a
grip.
lot of different organizations that make them. Me and Greg both have some custom parts that we can coincide with our chair that help articulate right, left, and up and down. And uh,
Right.
with your you got to forgive me, I'm a quad, and Greg and I both we have such a finite amount of space that we can hunt. So as a quad,
Yeah,
I try to get set up where the animal's going to come out, but I only have a little bit of play that I can turn
yeah,
my trunk. And
yep.
so, as a para, is it something that you can easily maybe shoot right or left a little bit more? Um, Or do you try to do the same thing and get set up kind of where query's going to come out?
I try to get set up where he's going to come out too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's still, going to the right or to the left. It's just I don't want to wound an animal and just hurt it.
sure.
I want to
Yeah,
make sure I place a good shot. Where it's uh, just move. The more I move, to be honest, the harder it is. So if I could get
Yep.
set up and have a clear view, straight in front of me, that's ideal for me personally.
Yep.
yeah,
But I just feel more comfortable with a shot just facing straight forward.
Yes,
sure.
sir. Yes, sir. Well, Terry, we appreciate you coming on the podcast today. And I want to give you and Mike the last words today and, reach out to tell people that, you're still able to do things you want to do, maybe just a different way. But guys, I'll give you the final words of the podcast.
Who you want to go, Mike?
Man, you go right ahead, Terry. It's one of those things. I don't want to talk too much on this joint, but yeah, fire away, brother.
Well, thank you both for having me on and the things you do for our community. But I think we've touched on it a few times during this episode. The biggest thing is putting yourself out there and put an effort into a real effort. Don't just say, "Oh, I might do this, I might do that."
Yeah,
Get it in your mind that okay, I'm going to do this, and then follow through, like you said with the application. If you put the application in, go. If they call, go. Don't just put the application in and okay, I'm done. Actually, go. It'll change your life. Like, going on
yes,
one
Yep.
of these trips is life changing. It's eye opening. You meet so many wonderful people out there. Um, and if you're not sure what to do, reach out to me, reach out to Greg or Mike. We'll help you. This community will all help each other. You know what I mean?
yes.
I
Yep.
I would never turn somebody away and say no. If you want to know some information or you want to do something, I'm more than willing to. I'll help anybody out.
Man, that's the kicker right there, Terry. It's a very small community. The disability world's very small. The amount of guys and girls that get out and hunt's even smaller. And it's
Yeah.
not about kudos for any one person. Nobody's seeking a pat on the back or an award. We just want to be able to give the best product and give good information. So, you guys, thank you for being able to share your time today, being able to share the insight, the passions, and just being able to cut up. Terry, thanks for being
Yeah.
open and honest about your narcolepsy and hitting the snooze button at the end of the line. Dude, that's what it's all about is being able to get out. And I'm excited to see where you guys hit on the next hunt.
Yeah.
Well, folks, thanks so much for tuning into the Accessible Hunter podcast today. We sure appreciate you. And we're going to be listing Terry's contacts on Facebook. And if you have some questions about getting out or how he does things further, like he said, I'm sure he'd answer any questions that you have. And we
For
appreciate you
sure.
all listening today. So thanks so much.